Hello, everybody. Welcome to A Call with Dr. Cook. My name is George Wright. I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer of Limicart, the CEO, and we're glad that you're here. I'm actually the CEO of Dr. Cook. That changed just a little bit ago. So
Yep.
anyway,
That's
today
good
we
thing,
have.
George.
It's good to see you, Dr. Cook. Happy June. It's almost July now.
That's right, almost.
Well, we're glad to do this. I know we've got a very exciting topic today, Dr. Cook. I know that we've introduced recently this new Pet InfoBoost program, and we've got a lot of great questions. And I'm really excited about today. But before we do that, I'd just like to welcome everybody here. People are coming from all over the world on this call, and I know it will be recorded and people can listen to it later. But we're glad when people can join us live just so that they can get the update here. Dr. Cook, we've got some new things that have come in the last few days. We have a whole bunch of exciting new boost ingredients that have recently been added to the library. Tell us about some of these ingredients, Dr. Cook.
Well, we've got 17, George, and these are some items that have been requested, some items we put in because they're specific to pet. Our library is getting pretty big, but I'm sure it'll get bigger.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
And then we've got that new InfoBoost too for the. You can see it on the right. It's called Pet Excitable Fearful Dog.
Okay.
In the United States, we're going to be celebrating the 4th of July next week, and maybe this InfoBoost is just in time because some dogs I know are afraid of fireworks, and maybe this. It'd be fun to get some feedback from people who have dogs like that. They can turn this on and see if the 4th of July is a little easier on their puppies.
You know, Dr. Cook, I can tell you from personal experience that when we have celebrations in our neighborhood, and there are times when different cities will light off different fireworks, I had a dog that was just traumatized. It was just so hard to be able to deal with fireworks and to deal with loud noises. And so I'm personally excited about that new InfoBoost for pets.
Well, it's built really to mimic a homeopathic remedy. Now, I should say it's not a homeopathic remedy. It's not the same. It's an InfoBoost, but it has items that are commonly used homeopathically, and we've even included potency factors in there. So it's really akin to a homeopathic remedy. Wow.
I can't wait to learn more about it. I can't quite frankly wait to use it. But anyway, we're one of the things that's interesting to me, Dr. Cook, is we have our human InfoBoost. We've got such a powerful lineup of things, but we also have our pet InfoBoosts, and they're different, right? Talk to us a little bit about, you've mentioned how this one's specifically for pets, this new InfoBoost, but all of our InfoBoost for pets are specifically for pets. Is that right?
Right. There's some differences, and I think we'll go through those today on the call. But
all right. Well, let's get into it. I would just basically let's start with the kind of these are wellness products. And so none of these are intended to diagnose, treat, or cure disease. And so we want to make sure that we treat this as wellness. That's very important for us to know. And it's very important for everyone to understand that. And so in terms of our compliance, please know that if you have something that's wrong, if there's a sick dog, some diagnosis, please go see a vet, go see somebody. And it would be the same for you. These are wellness products. But that being the case, I know there's some amazing stories. I would encourage you, if you do have an amazing story or something that you would like to share with us, to please go ahead and send an email in to askdrcook@limbicarc.com. We love pictures, we love stories, and I'm sure we'll be using those here in the short term. So, Dr. Cook, we have had a ton of questions that have come in since we've launched PET. It's been out for about a month. And there are a lot of things people are asking, and I wonder if we thought maybe the best way to go through and to answer these questions would be literally to do a demonstration and to literally go through and set things up and talk about it as we go through and maybe have a conversation. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Dr. Cook. We're going to go take a look specifically at my program here, and we're going to see what we can do and see if we can mimic and answer these questions as we go along. So give me just a second. Let me share my screen. Can you see that, Dr. Cook?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So as we go through here, Dr. Cook, you can see that this is my profile. And if you look on the toolbar here, again, I'm doing this on my computer. If you're doing it on your phone, it might look a little smaller, but we wanted to share this as wide as possible. But you can see that we have the Human InfoBoost library. We've got the CERT InfoBoost. And then here we have pets. And I've clicked on my pets. And you can see that I have 2. One of the first things people are going to want to do when they set up a new Pet InfoBoost is going to be to set up a pet profile. Dr. Cook, why is it important that we have good, clean information when we set up a pet profile?
Well, George, the reason is because just as it is for humans, I mean, when you create your account with Limbic Arc, you want to put in specific details so that the account is clearly linked to you and not to somebody else. I mean, for example, there are more than one Vaughn Cooks in the world. Right. And if I just put in Vaughn Cook and nothing else, it's, well, specific, but it's not specific enough. So
well, let's get right after.
That's true with your pet. You want to make sure that it's specific enough that your pet is clearly the link to that account.
Okay. So you've got to create a clear, concise link. Let's do one, Dr. Cook. I've got a couple of pets here, and you can have up to 5 on this. Let's go ahead and add a pet. So if someone was doing this for the first time, you would simply go to My Pets, and here's a plus, and it gives you the option to add a pet. Now,
do you have more than 1 or more than 3 or 2? I mean, George.
Well, Dr. Cook, that's a sad story. My dog Rex just recently passed. He was 17, and so he had a very long life. Oki right now is my dog, and in fact, she's here with me right now. But I have one, but I also have got pets for my children, and my daughter and son-in-law come, and they have a dog named Bucky, and I'd like to set something up for Bucky today.
Okay.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put plus, and here I'm going to put in his name, Bucky. And is there anything special about the pet name, Dr. Cook? Just whatever.
Nope, whatever it is.
Whatever it
Make
is.
sure you spell it right. You don't want Bucky to be offended.
Okay. So when I go into the type, it's giving me lots of choices here. And clearly I'm going to select dog, but I'm noticing that there are lots of different animals that we have, lots of different pets, quite frankly, that we have in that selection.
Well,
is there anything special about that, Dr. Cook?
Yeah, we did a search and found that those are the most common pets around the world. Okay. However, it doesn't cover everything, and that's why at the bottom of that you've got other. So if you have a pet cow or another kind of animal, you can just select other, and that will cover them.
A potbelly pig or anything. People have lots of pets. And,
that's right.
Okay. So for us, we know that it's going to be a dog. And
now, George, this might be a good time to mention that when you select dog, when you go into the InfoBoost that we'll see in a minute, we have created what are called contraindications for dog. So, for example, dark chocolate is contraindicated for a dog. Okay. If you do a custom InfoBoost, we don't filter that because we want you to be able to make the choices. But in the preset InfoBoosts, by selecting dog, you've now enabled all of those contraindications on behalf of Bucky.
I see. Okay. Gender selection, Bucky's a boy. And the
Now,
approximate,
if Bucky is a neutered boy, you'd still put male in there.
okay. That's a great. I know that a lot of people spay and neuter, their pets, especially their dogs and their cats.
Yeah.
So okay, so we'll continue. Bucky's a male. He is neutered, by the way, so that's great to know. The
Well,
approximate birth year is 2018,
okay.
and so we're going to hit continue. Okay, so now this brings us to the next place, Dr. Cook, where we've got the ability to add a profile. Why is a profile picture important?
Well, we're going to do a scan of that photo, and so you want to have a photo in for that reason.
Okay,
And it
so
further identifies, it lets us know, hey, this is Bucky, as opposed to just the name and a birth date.
so right now it's showing that there's a dog image. It just knows that there's a dog, but I want to get personal with this, and so I'm going to add a photo, and I'm going to choose a photo, and I actually have a picture of Bucky. He's just a cute little beagle, and so there's Bucky. And I'm going to size that.
Good job.
How's that? Does that look great?
Yeah, he's a cute puppy.
And we'll hit continue. Okay. So now we've set everything up and we've got everything ready to go. So now I've set up the profile. So if I go to my pets, um, you can see now that I have added Bucky to my pets, and now Rex has passed along, which is sad for me. I see also we have an archived up here, Dr. Cook.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Rex in archive just because it's not active right now.
Right. And that frees up that space.
Okay. And there are 5 spaces, is that right? So for 5 pets?
Yeah, you can have 5 pets in the active category. You can have an infinite number in the archive. So if you had 6 pets, you would be able to run InfoBoosts on 5 of them at a time. You'd have to have the 6th one archived, but you could rotate the archive on and off.
Well, let's demonstrate how we archive a pet. Okay. So
Okay.
if I click on Rex and I go into edit, you can see there's a little toggle switch up here, which allows me to archive. And oh my goodness, my puppy, I miss Rex. He was an amazing dog. I could tell you lots of stories. Lived a long, rich life. But now when I archive Rex, you can see it shows archived. And so now when I come back to my pets, you can see that I have I've got the 2 active pets, and also I have a view archived. If I click on archived, I can still see Rex. I can see what's happening there. Okay, so so if you have more than 5 pets, Dr. Cook, how would you make that work?
Well, you'd put in all of those. You'd create an account for all of them.
Okay,
You would have to archive any beyond 5,
okay,
and you could run InfoBoosts on those 5 simultaneously. But if you wanted to then add a 6th, you would have to archive one of the active, and you just would rotate your pets into the active categories so
and
that you
just
can
switch them
then
out.
run InfoBoost for them. So
Okay, so it's easy to archive and unarchive. We showed you how to do that, so that's great. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's set up a pet info boost for Bucky. Um, let's run. We've already set him up. We've got Bucky done. We know what's happening here. So now what I would do is I would go to active pet info boosts to do that. So on your left-hand toolbar here under active pet info boost, you can see right now I actually have a active info boost going for Oki, and which will be ending in 1 day. But if I want to add another one, if I want to add an info boost for Bucky, all I do is add pet info boost right here. And now I can choose who I want to add the info boost for. So we're going to add one for Bucky. So I choose Bucky. And now I'm coming to a screen, Dr. Cook, and I'm seeing all kinds of things. Talk me through some of the things I'm seeing on screen here.
Well, these are the preset InfoBoosts. And let's scroll down and let's look at that new one, the
This
fearful dog one.
pet
Yeah.
excitable, fearful dog.
Yeah. So if you just wanted to run that the way it's built, you could just click on it and turn it on.
So if I
And,
clicked on it, and this is let's run this with Bucky. He
okay.
does have a when things happen, he gets anxious. It's loud noises scare Bucky. So let's do one. This would be a
Okay.
perfect info boost for him. Before we do that, Dr. Cook, I do want to come back a little bit. You can see that there are lots of pet info boosts here. You'll notice a little icon. They are, and they're named for pet. And so these are specific for pets, right?
If you look at the ingredients in those, you'll see that there is crossover because we have a finite library. But the answer is yes. We tailor these to pets, and there are things in the pet InfoBoost that you won't find on the human side, because there are some things that are appropriate for pets that may not be appropriate for humans.
For humans. And you mentioned contraindications. They're all taken into account when you do these pet info boosts, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
We have another tab here called custom.
Mm-hmm.
And explain the difference between pet info boosts and custom, Dr. Cook.
Well, custom, you would scan the entire library with a Spark scan, or if you said, "Hey, I just want to do a custom info boost, and I know what I want to put in it. I want 3 items." So you could just go to custom and go into the library, select those 3 items that you want, and activate it.
Okay.
The contraindications are not taken into account in the custom info boost because we did not want to eliminate any options that you may choose to include.
Okay.
So you may want to put dark chocolate in a dog info boost. And so we didn't say you can't do that. It's just, you got to be smart enough to do it or not to do it.
Right.
It's
more of an advanced feature then.
Yeah, it's more of an advanced feature.
Okay. So let's go back, and we've decided we're going to do a pet excitable fearful dog. This is the new info boost that's been set for Bucky. And so as I click on that, I can see that I have 2 choices, Dr. Cook. I have one, which is a Spark Scan info boost, and then just the regular info boost. Explain the difference between those 2.
Well, if you just do the info boost, it's just going to take what we pre-built and it's going to include them all in the info boost and activate it. If you do the Spark, it's going to run through the Spark scan, and when you open up that info boost, you'll see that all of the items have been prioritized according to the Spark response.
So I'm not going to run an info boost. I do want to run a Spark scan info boost, but let's click on info boost just to see what's happening here. So if we went and activated, it would start. I won't do that right now.
Yeah, don't
But
do it
right
yet.
now it's showing me I have the duration of the info boost.
See, now that defaults to 14 days, just like on the human side.
Okay. And so I can choose to run it. Why would you run it a few days versus 14 days?
Let's say that Bucky had an injury and he was mending, but you needed 7 more days of support. You might do one for 7 days, or next Monday for us is the 4th of July. You might say, "Hey, let's turn this on until Tuesday of next week," so you could turn it on for as many days as you need.
Okay.
We defaulted to 14 because that's just, you may want to run it 14 days, and so we made it easy.
Okay. So the next option here is InfoBoost times. And right now it's set to continuous. But if I click on this, Dr. Cook, I've got lots of different options here as to I can start and run and stop this InfoBoost at different times of the day.
Just like on the human side, you can set your start and stops.
Okay.
So some
And
people, if you remember, will use this. They'll put the focus InfoBoost on in the morning, and then they put the calm InfoBoost on or the sleep InfoBoost on in the evening.
okay.
And so you can do the same thing on the pet side.
And so it's simple to change. You can set the times, and you want it to run from this time to this time, and then that's simple to use. So great, that's awesome. Boost ingredients again. That we have our default boost ingredients, and these are the ingredients that are part of this info boost, correct?
That's right. So
And
we have these items in. You'll notice that we've got multiple homeopathic potencies also in this InfoBoost. In homeopathic terms, you would call this a complex homochord, but you
okay.
don't need to remember that. It's not on the test.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you understand this and can build tools, Dr. Craig, that take this stuff into account. Um, I see a little green box here that says new on this ingredient here, Canada lettuce. That's one of the
Yep,
new 17 ingredients. Is that right?
that's correct. Yeah, we
And
put those three you see that are new are were put in primarily to build this InfoBoost.
and if you click on any of these ingredients, it will give you more information about what this ingredient is. So that's a powerful tool that you'll want to remember. And so those are the default ingredients. Now we have additional boost ingredients, and this is going to include the entire library. Is that right?
Right. So let's say, hey, I'd really like to put in a digestive enzyme for Bucky. So you can go down, you could click on enzymes,
Okay.
and then you could just scroll down and you'd see the one you want to include, and you click the checkbox. It will now include it in this InfoBoost.
In that info boost.
And
Interesting.
you can see there are no outcome ratios. There's no percentage number by these InfoBoost ingredients. It's because you haven't run a Spark scan.
Right. Okay. Okay. So now what we've done is we've literally gone through all of this info boost information, right? And so now what we're going to do, I actually want to do a Spark scan because I feel like that we're going to be able to do well. This gives me some options that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to click on a Spark scan, and the first thing that happens is it comes to a wonderful little screen with a video that talks about how to run a Spark scan. There's also a great description here that talks about the Spark scan. And I would encourage you to take some time and read through this because it's going to help you a little bit. But let's go ahead and continue, Dr. Cook. We know we're going to do a Spark scan, and I'm going to have you talk me through this.
Well, and George, some people might look at this and say, "Wait a minute, this is redundant because we've got this information in the other InfoBoost, Spark. It's the same information, um, except we say talk about your pet as opposed to yourself." But we realize that some people may want to do an InfoBoost on their pet before they do one on themselves, and so we put the information in so that it's in both places.
Oh, that's great. You mentioned here topic specific. Explain topic specific when it comes to your pet.
Well, voice, that's the first biomarker we're going to use. And voice is topic specific. If you want just a general Bucky info boost, you would just talk about Bucky. Okay, he's a cute dog and he's a beagle and he's this old and he's got floppy ears and brown eyes. And you talk about him generally. But if Bucky has a problem or an issue or something particular you want to help him with, like, I'm teaching Bucky to roll over and I'd like an info boost to help him learn how to roll over. You talk about that specifically and you bias the spark in the direction of what it is you're talking about because voice is topic specific. In other words, the energy in your voice is different if you're talking about Bucky rolling over as opposed to Bucky generally.
So I'm going to do one here for Bucky. I'm going to go ahead and do a recording. And so I'll just start recording and I'll talk about Bucky. Bucky's a cute little dog that is a little bit afraid when loud noises happen. We've got the 4th of July coming, and I would like to help him through that.
You did a good job.
Was that okay? I could re-record if I wanted to, right?
Yeah, you could, but that was, you stayed on topic. You know, there's no question that you're talking about the issue there.
Okay. So if that's good, then I'm going to hit continue.
Now, what happens when this is going around is the computer is now analyzing that voice, the voice energy.
Right. Okay, so now we come to biometric visual input. Now, Bucky is not here with me right now, and so I can't take a photo in the moment. But this is a very powerful feature. Explain why biometric visual input is so helpful.
Well, the scan that we have developed is an algorithm, and in order to make that algorithm specific to Bucky at this point in time, we need some biometric information, some real-time information. And your voice talking about Bucky becomes part of that biometric information, and the photograph becomes part of the biometric information. We then analyze both of those things and create an appendage that is then attached to our algorithm, and it makes the algorithm unique to Bucky at this moment.
So I would encourage people to do that. Take the time to upload a current photo, to take one in the moment. For our purposes today, I'm just going to use the profile photo.
Yeah, and the profile works, but you bring up a good point. And let's say that Bucky had been injured and you had to buy an InfoBoost to help him heal, with the hope that it'd help him heal. I should not be too making claims here. Real-time information is helpful because as Bucky heals, what he needs may change. And so by putting in an updated photo each time, gives you more real-timeness in that biometric image.
And this all has to do with the quantum nature of what we're doing here. And so I would just say that if you can upload a current photo, that'll help. But let's continue here. And you can see now that it's going through the picture and it's scanning. And what's happening here?
Well, we just ran the Spark scan.
Okay.
And so it took those pieces of information, appended it to the scan algorithm, and now if you click on any one of those categories, you will see you'll see the outcome ratios, which is the number with the percentage.
Now, we've been to this screen before, Dr. Cook. We've been to this when we didn't do a Spark scan, and it had the same thing. We can now select an InfoBoost schedule.
Right.
I'm going to go for 7 days.
Okay. And people say, May, is there any right or wrong to that? And my answer is no, just go with what you feel, because you can always restart it if you want, or you can always turn it off.
I want this to be continuous. I don't want to turn this on and off. And so I'm going to leave this on continuous, even though I have the ability to adjust that. Mm-hmm. I can see that we have the boost ingredients. We've got our optimized default boost ingredients, and they're all selected, but there's also a number here. Tell us about this number, Dr. Cook.
Well, what the scan does is it prioritizes all of the items in the library or all of the items in the selected InfoBoost. And so you can see that Valerian is the highest priority here. But in this case, where you want to run a selected InfoBoost, you would, even though 30C is down there at 11%, I would still include that because of the way that InfoBoost is built and intended to operate. Okay. This becomes more helpful though if you say, well, I want to add something else to this InfoBoost, and you go down to the bottom tab there.
Okay.
And you look at all ingredients.
Okay.
Or you could go to all ingredients, or let's say I want to add an enzyme, and you go down and click on enzymes.
So all ingredients is just all ingredients, and it starts with the highest number. It's not alphabetical order at this point. It's by order of preference here on
Priority.
percentage.
Yeah. So
So
you
if
have
we
your
go
higher
back,
priority items at the top.
so if we go back to ingredient categories and click on enzymes, like you mentioned, let's do that. Okay, now we have the enzymes, but I now know which enzymes are ranked highest based on that Spark scan.
Right. So you could select those high ones. And again, you can still go down. You can say, well, look, I really want to put bromelain in there. Well, you can go down and select bromelain, even though it's lower on the list.
Okay.
So again, you've got the same flexibility with pet that you have with the human InfoBoost.
Okay. Okay. And so what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll activate this InfoBoost. So we've selected the duration. It's continuous. We've got the default boost ingredients, and we've added a few additional boost ingredients based on my knowledge and our conversation. So we just activate. And now
There
you
you
can
go.
see that I've got my active pet InfoBoost. I have one right now that's going for Bucky, and I also have one right now that's going for Oki. And it'll tell you how long it's going to go.
You did it, George.
We did it. Well, I appreciate you talking me through this stuff, Dr. Cook.
Well, George, you know how to do that. I'm just here to
Well,
have
but
fun.
if people are doing this for the first time, it's a little bit. Sometimes it might be a little confusing, or it's good to know. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen at this point, Dr. Cook.
George, we should mention that if you have pet, your friends and family also have pet. That's included in the friends and family.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And so I think that's one of the most amazing features here. So we should be that's when you find the benefits for pets, and I'm telling you, my experience with my pet has been profound, quite frankly. And it's great
I
to
don't expect that's going to be uncommon, George, because animals are more energetically sensitive than humans.
yeah.
They don't have the the skepticism or the bias because they don't understand it. And as a way to introduce limbic arc to others, I think pet is a great way to make that introduction. If you know somebody who has a pet and you have a friend, you've got your friends and family account, you might give them a friends and family account for a period of time, and they may say, "Well, I'm not sure," but you say, "Look, try it on your pet."
Right.
And they run some InfoBoost on their pet, and they go, "I'll be darned, it works on Bucky," and then it's easier to bridge the gap between, if this works for Bucky, it's probably going to work for me too.
I'm excited to see how this is going to work for Bucky. I will tell you that the Calm InfoBoost I'm running right now on Oki has been incredibly effective. I knew within a few minutes of when I activated that, it was something that I could tell, and I'm watching for it. I'm sensitive to it, but it's fascinating to see, and that was my experience. So, well, Dr. Cook, I know we've gone a little bit long, but just I guess if we were to wrap things up, I would say Pet is a fantastic product from my perspective. I hope you have the same experiences that I've received.
I think it is going to touch a lot of people because a lot of people are more in love with their pet than anything else in their life. And if we can impact the things they love, it's going to improve the quality of their life. And that's really what our objective is with Limbic Arc.
Well, and look, I would strongly, the Pet InfoBoost is made specifically for pets. And so you're going to get your best results when you have this tool and use it. So anyway, I hope that everybody has a great experience with that, Dr. Cook. Thank you. I'm going to wrap things up very quickly here just by making a couple of announcements. Our next call is going to be July 27th, and that's going to be at 10 o'clock. If you need help setting up InfoBoost, running the Pet InfoBoost, contact our customer success department. They'll be happy to help you. Just go to our webpage down at the bottom. You'll see the contact information, and you'll be able to do that. We're going to be sending out an announcement with a replay link. So if you want to share this to some of your friends, people who are setting up an InfoBoost, somebody that you want to introduce the Pet InfoBoost to with friends and family, go ahead and hopefully this will be a helpful way for them to do that. And also, when things finish up, go ahead and register for next month's call. But Dr. Cook, I appreciate you taking time today. Thank you. I know we had a lot of questions, and hopefully they all got answered today. But thank you for making such a fantastic tool. I know that it's made a difference in our home.
It's a fun product. It's good to be here, George. Thank
All right.
you.
Hey, thanks, Dr. Cook. See you.